All right, let's build something. A calm, rules-first system that helps you turn all those hyped-up stories into actual, testable investment ideas. This is how you finally kill that FOMO when you invest.
So let's get right to it. If a great story is the only reason you bought a stock, you've probably fallen into a classic trap. It means you don't really have an investment thesis. Well, the system we're building today, it's gonna fix that, for good.
And you know what? Smart people fall for this all the time. Our brains are literally hardwired to fall in love with a good story. We crave narrative. We prefer it way more than we like staring at cold, hard numbers. And look, the research is super clear on this. We consistently give way too much weight to a good story, and we ignore the actual data. It is without a doubt the biggest blind spot for investors.
Okay, so we're gonna build a system that makes all that hype just bounce right off your portfolio. It's all about learning to separate the fleeting stories from the hard data, writing theses that actually keep you honest, and most importantly, automating a core portfolio that hype just can't hijack.
You know, I actually saw this happen to a subscriber. There was this company, we'll just call them Smart City Co., and they put on this amazing keynote. The story was just irresistible. He got totally swept up in the hype and moved a massive 40% of his portfolio into it. 40%!
And what do you think happened? Well, 6 months later, the stock had gone right back to where it started. So not only did he lose money, but he also missed out on 2 whole contribution cycles for his main portfolio. That's a double whammy. It just perfectly illustrates the point. A slick keynote does not equal cash flow. If his baseline had just been automated, the damage would have been tiny. And that leads us right to our first and honestly our most important rule. You have to build your fortress before you go exploring. You need an automated, kind of boring baseline portfolio set up and running on its own before you make a single speculative bet. And honestly, it's way simpler than you think. Just go to your brokerage's auto invest feature. Pick a global index fund and maybe some bonds, whatever fits your risk profile. Set that up as your baseline and tell it to be 80 to 90% of your portfolio. Then just schedule the buys. The 1st and 15th of the month is perfect. Hit confirm and you're done, seriously.
And that number, 80 to 90%, that is so powerful. When the vast majority of your financial future is locked in, just compounding away on autopilot, no story, no viral keynote, no amount of hype can seriously derail you. You've made discipline the default setting.
Okay, so now that our fortress is built and running on autopilot, we can finally learn the critical difference between a story and actual evidence. A story, that's a fleeting event, a catalyst. The evidence, that's the hard data that actually generates the returns.
Just look at this table. It tells you everything. On the left, you've got the stories, product launches, CEO quotes, all the rumors and teases. Those are the catalysts. On the right, you've got the evidence, revenue trends, free cash flow, valuation. Here's the most important takeaway. If your reason for buying a stock comes only from that left-hand column, you do not have a thesis yet.
So how do we turn a vague story into something, well, something real? We use a structured, falsifiable thesis. This template forces you to move from the world of narrative to the world of numbers. Think of it like a filter for all that noise. Okay, let's break this down real quick. My edge, this forces you to pinpoint a specific advantage you see in the data. Metric target, this makes you define what success actually looks like with a real number and a date. Valuation target sets a clear price range. And here's the most important part. I'm wrong if, this forces you to define exactly how you'll know you messed up before you even put $1 in.
Now, this doesn't mean you can never invest in exciting, high-growth ideas. Of course not. It just means they need to live in a controlled environment. We call this the sandbox. It's a small, clearly defined part of your portfolio where your high-conviction ideas get to play out, safely. And this visualizes it perfectly, right? The vast majority of your wealth, a full 90%, is protected, safe inside that automated baseline. Only a small, 10% slice is set aside for the sandbox, for those higher-risk, thesis-driven ideas. Your core just keeps compounding, no matter what happens in the sandbox.
But the sandbox has very strict rules. First, it's never more than 10% of your total portfolio, ever. No single stock can be more than 2%. You absolutely cannot buy a stock without a written thesis, no exceptions. And here's the real key. Every single idea has to go on a 30-day watch list before you buy. That little waiting period, it is an absolute game changer. It's designed to let that initial dopamine hit, that hype, just fade away so you can think clearly. Inside that sandbox, every single position you own needs a tripwire. This is a data-based rule you set before you invest.
It is your pre-commitment to sell if the evidence turns against your thesis. It's not emotional, it's not a negotiation. It's a simple, if X happens, I sell. Period.
And before you can even set a tripwire, you've got to do the uncomfortable work. Part of this whole process is actively, intentionally seeking out the counter-argument. You have to find at least one credible negative, one serious bear case for your amazing idea. If you can't find one, it just means you're living in an echo chamber.
All right, the final piece of this whole system is accountability. You need a regular, simple process to review your own decisions and measure how well your filter is actually working. This is what keeps you honest. It's what makes you a better investor over time.
And the key metric here is something called your thesis kill rate. It's the percentage of ideas that you go through the trouble of writing a full thesis for, but then you decide not to buy. Your target here should be over 50%. A high kill rate is an awesome sign. It means your filter is working, successfully weeding out the bad ideas before they can cost you any money.
And the review itself is super simple. Seriously, just put a 20-minute reminder in your calendar for yourself every quarter. Step 1, sell anything that hit its tripwire. Step 2, score your active theses as a hit or a miss. Step 3, rebalance back to your 90-10 split. And finally, Step 4, log your thesis kill rate. That's it. System reset.
So, let's put this all together into a really simple action plan. The pain from all those little narrative-driven mistakes, it really compounds over time. But a calm, rules-based system like this one, it flips that fear of missing out into a powerful, effective filter.
There are just 3 lines you need to burn into your brain. 1, automate your baseline so stories can't touch it. 2, catalysts are not data. If you don't have a written thesis, you do not buy. And 3, use tripwires and your thesis kill rate to stay honest and accountable to yourself.
And look, you can literally do this stuff today. First, go set up that auto-invest for your baseline. Second, create a simple note or a spreadsheet for your thesis log using that template we talked about. And third, add that recurring quarterly review to your calendar right now. This is how you turn this knowledge into actual behavior.
So I'm going to leave you with one direct question. Are you currently over 80% automated? Just let me know with a simple yes or no down in the comments. And if you're not, what's stopping you? Next time, we are going to tackle price versus business, how to balance technicals and fundamentals. Make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss that one.